Hello everyone, this is Dawn over at Plot Chronicles. Today I want to review a book that is different than my normal read. Kind of fiction slash historical fiction. I don't know if you call it, because it's not based on a true story, but it is similar to the things that happened back in the 1950s. And it's called The Mad Wife by Meagan. I thought it was an interesting read, and basically I'll just sum this whole thing up. It's about a young housewife named Lulu who is married, to a husband that's trying to move up in the company that he works for, okay? And she's supposed to be a perfect little housewife, and she does have a child. She does have a little boy that's young, and then they have another baby, and she's supposed to try to do it all, okay? Take care of the house, and then take care of, if he brings home, guests for dinner from his work. Back then they did more dinner parties in the 1950s. You don't hear about people doing that as much. And try to always look her best, That was back in the day when you would read books or see TV, TV programs. And this is when you're a housewife, you're at home. So your responsibility is dinner and also taking care of the kids and keeping the house clean and also looking your very best. Keeping a nice figure, dressing nice, having a little bit of makeup on, or always having some fresh lipstick on, always having your house ready, having the food ready, the kids are well behaved when you get home, all of that stuff, having everything good. So when the husband comes home, he's got dinner ready, kids are well behaved, bathed, homework done, all that good stuff, and you're ready to serve him his drink, bring him his slippers, and all of that good stuff, right? And I know people think that's tough, but I'm just going to make this one statement. I know I've said this before, but people think that was tough back then. But I think these 1950s housewives, if they had to do that and go work full-time and come home and do stuff, I think they would find out it's even tougher nowadays. But this is what made it tough back then. Expectations for many of the women were even higher. And what I mean by that, and I remember this, and one of my friends used to say this, she'd say, secrets make you sick. I mean, back then, and you probably remember this, certain things were just not discussed. Even when I was growing up, and it might be because of my parents' European upbringing, you just did not show sadness. You know what, you really didn't cry, and it was no use because it didn't solve anything, and you a lot of times had to keep your feelings in. You didn't go around discussing your feelings with people, okay? I mean, you were supposed to just be positive, move on, and, just, work hard and basically eat your feelings, okay? And so if there was something tragic that happened, it was like this. Let's say if there was a death in the family. Oh, yes, we understand there's a death in the family. Be sad about it, but guess what? By then, you're supposed to show that you are now, you're okay, you're back to the grindstone, you're back to cooking and cleaning and being yourself and whatever. And so you had to really just always have that face on. My mother used to say to me, go put your face on, which means, be happy, go get your makeup on, get your hair done, look your best, act your best, smile. And I remember when my mother growing up, let's say that my mother was angry and she was, shouting at my sister or something like that. My mother would answer the phone and say, hello, well, hi. She could change like that. She would never want to show anger or upset in front of anybody. She always wanted to be on her, quote, best behavior. Well, that's kind of what it was like back then. And so if you're unraveling, if you're not holding it together, and this main character, her name is Lula, when she grew up, she had some things that happened that were kind of tragic, which I won't go into, and some things that she kind of had to just shove under the rug, but it's things she brought with her into her marriage. And so here she is trying to be a perfect housewife and handle everything perfectly, but then some things started happening, and it started to unravel, where she couldn't be the perfect housewife and mother anymore. She just couldn't do it. And it's interesting because a next door neighbor moved in whose name was Bitsy, and Bitsy had all sorts of secrets she was holding too. So I thought it was an interesting story. I would give it 3 stars because I kind of felt like more could have happened, if that makes sense. It was just almost like you're watching somebody's everyday life. I felt like there could have been more excitement in there, but it was interesting to see how they handled people with depression back then compared to how they handle it now. and what they did. Back then, they would send women away, you know, to convalesce, and, oh, she'll be back soon and she'll be back to her old self, you know, that kind of thing. And so, believe me, I do understand, because, hey, you know what, it's great to be happy all the time and not to have to deal with things, but one of my friends told me this. She said, if you don't deal with stuff now, it will come back to bite you. So it's kind of interesting. It's called The Mad Wife by Meagan Church. I gave it a 3 because I thought it kind of drug in a few places, but it was interesting to look back on how they dealt with things back in the 1950s. Let me know if you've read it, and come back next, because I've got a really interesting book to tell you about. That's all I have to say for now. Love you, appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye, everybody.